Okay, guys. So now we think, all right, Denise, you want us to be leaders, you want us to make change. How do we do that? Okay. So how am I innovative? How do I become more creative? How to explore ideas or technology? How do I use them? Okay, here's the deal. I was almost frozen with fear. How am I going to make an impression at work? How am I going to make change? I have the education, I got the job. Now what do I do? Right? And, thinking creatively around things. Now, here's the deal. There might be many of you out there who are like, I am not creative. But every day in life, we do something called workarounds, right? Something fails or is really frustrating or hard, and you find ways around it, right? So you are creative. You just might not be good at drawing or something. So do you have any ideas for improvements in your workplace? And it doesn't have to be patient care related. It can be even as small as increasing um, satisfaction at lunch for your workmates. It might be improving sick call-ins during flu season. Um, it might be even improving how to get vacation time scheduled. But what is an area that you want to improve where you work? And start small. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to, create the new vaccine for polio or something, okay? So you asked, am I creative? I'm not creative. Well, here are some patterns expressed by creative people. So are you curious? All right. I'm pretty sure most of you are curious if you're here in nursing. Do you test and learn from your mistakes? Do you know how to troubleshoot things? When you get a new phone app, do you call tech support or do you figure out how to use it? Are you good at noticing things? Hey, Jen is so good at charting. What is it about her charting? She gets it done so well. Or, man, I noticed that at night shift around 3 a.m. is when most patients code. What is that? Um, kind of, the willingness to embrace the unknown. I don't know what this will do, but I'm willing to try it. Cultivating whole brain thinking, so looking at both sides of everything, flexibility and balance, and then systems thinking skills. So I want to implement a change or I want to figure something out. How does the system work in which I um, am involved in so that I know how to approach the system? So I know for me, I want to make a change in the nursing pattern. I have to go through the nursing arm and understanding the system like that. So strategies, oops, sorry, common ways we approach creative thinking as the explorer, as the artist, as the judge, as the warrior. So looking outside your field, looking at different ideas, maybe something outside your field that can relate to your current field. How do you mix things up? Are you sure what you're trying to do is a good idea? Is it worth spending time on? Why do you want to reach this goal? What's motivating you? What is causing barriers? All right, so strategies to unlock your creativity. Define the problem or needed change and be specific, right? Like, how do we change the fact that half the staff come in looking inappropriate, right? This happens sometimes. I know this is like a weird thing to talk about, but what about you want to elevate the image of nursing on your unit? So define the problem. The image of nursing on our unit comes off as sloppy and unprofessional. Okay? Generate ideas, even the outlandish ones. All right, deducting pay when someone comes in looking looking bad. That's outlandish, right? You can't do that. But generating ideas, maybe paying for everyone's uniform, maybe coming up with an image committee. Select the idea and refine it, right? So uniforms. Uniforms is going to make, everyone's going to be dressed alike. A dress code. Put the idea into play and evaluate the implementation and the outcome of the idea once it's in play. All right, so this is an article called Unlocking the Power of Innovation, sorry. And we're going to look at it together. All right, so the goal of this article is to provide a practical guide to unlocking power, right? So let's look at this together. Components of innovative process. So in our work together, the authors have come to see innovation as having three highly interdependent components. So individual or team creativity, the innovations itself, and the environment in which the innovation is deployed or introduced and sustained. So creative ideas are obviously critical to the process of innovation, but ideas are not enough, right? Whether an invention, a new process, new language is derived, the creative process of the individual or the team, it cannot be sustained without a proper environment. So people are creative when they solve problems, right? Need is the motherhood of necessity, or what necessity is the motherhood of invention, or whatever that phrase is. So people are creative when you need to solve a problem, right? You don't have enough staffing. How do you get creative? Maybe we can discharge some people. Maybe we can lower their level of care. Maybe we can float someone up who can only take care of med-surg patients. Similarly, a work is creative if it stands out at first in terms of its novelty, but also to be accepted within the field. So the environment, including its social and cultural and physical aspects, is critical for providing the creative opportunity. Okay, so look, innovation, environment, creativity. They all have to match so you can get to this dark pink area so that you can actually sustain a new idea and make it part of practice. So innovation. It's a process that brings creativity to a measurable outcome, action, product, or process. Okay, innovation is something different that has impact. It's to solve the problem. So there's user-driven innovation. So user-driven innovation focuses on the ability of product users to adapt and customize products, including devices, processes, and outcomes. All right, so what does that mean, right? It's about successful end users. You're adapting and designing a product, knowing the knowledge of those who you want to use it, right? So if you're going to invent something a nurse is going to use, a product, okay, you need to understand their knowledge and what is meant for it at the end of them using it. So if they have the skills needed to customize a given product to what somebody needs, it's going to be a successful change. All right. So user-driven innovators are often willing to share their designs and ideas, and that's called an innovation community. Okay. So think about this. I'm going to invent a way to make checking blood sugars on hourly patients easier, right? So you want to understand what that means. And if you understand the end goal for any nurse who's checking blood sugars every hour, it's going to help you speed up how you design something. So there's something called disruptive innovation. That occurs by thinking differently and asking new and different questions in each situation. This process of disruptive innovation can be fostered and supported by nurse leaders as they encourage new and different thinking at the bedside. So maybe improving things that already exist. Is it good enough? Is it targeting non-consumers? Is there something we can do that's less costly, right? So creativity. Most of us are capable of being creative, yet many of us don't recognize our own creativity, whether it's in the artistry of one's cooking or the way in which we plan and care to deliver for residents. Creative people frequently solve problems with something called divergent thinking. And this is a thought process that's most commonly accepted for creative capacity, right? Our idea to think outside the box. And then the environment. The context with which innovation and creativity thrives or conversely withers is the environment, right? If you work somewhere where everybody shoots down ideas, it's really hard for innovation to thrive. So what can we do to make a supportive environment for that? And sometimes as the innovator, you also have to create a sustainable learning environment. Okay, so here's just a little hospital environment. Hospital environments to care for newborns have been evolving since the field of neonatology started. Hospitals are altering their NICU facilities to respond to increasing family expectations, clinical research, et cetera, et cetera. NICUs are shifting to individual private rooms that provide superior ambient noise and light protection, along with improved privacy for patients. A multidisciplinary team of clinicians from Boston Teaching Hospital has convened to identify technology, space, and workflow requirements. And this was all honed in an environment that supported this kind of change. All right, so here are the different innovation methods. IDEO is a renowned and award-winning design and development consultancy firm, and they talk about observation of users in real-life environments is invaluable for problem identification. So being really in there, observing. Then storytelling to package the observation, research into vignettes, finding themes. Synthesis, taking all the observation and stories to design an opportunity. And then brainstorming, let's unlock more opportunity. And then fast, rapid prototyping, right? Simple supplies, maybe making things out of cans or something tangible so you can understand and people can hold the idea in their hands. And then field testing, right? All right, so enough of this little tale. So what if you're the type of person who's resistant to change? Well, most of us don't wake up and they're like, yeah, I want to change. I mean, literally, I've been trying to stop eating carbs for like 10 years. So clearly, I'm not awesome at change. So why is it that change is so hard, right? Well, we're one creature of habits. Okay, we really like to do the same thing over. It provides structure, it makes us feel controlled, we're comfortable. A lot of us are really good at stopping change, okay? And a lot of times we are the obstacle in getting other people to change. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to make things chaotic. So there's usually some internal, external motivation to engage in change. And engagement is a really important word, especially nowadays in healthcare. We need to discover the forces that will lead to change, that will engage someone, whether it be monetary, whether it be because they're excited to help patients, whether it be because they want to progress in their job. And you know what? Sometimes that's how we have to motivate people. It's unfortunate, and it's not the best way to engage someone, but motivation is what engages someone for change. So what motivates you to change? Well, I know it motivates me to think of how I looked on my honeymoon to stop eating carbs, right? What are my barriers? Carbs are delicious. When you're elected to change, what is your pattern of response to change? Well, usually it's to just ignore it and shame spiral, but now I want to do something about it. So my response was a habit, and now I need to change that. Maybe getting somebody to keep me accountable. Do you routinely find yourself stressed with proposed change? Sure, but that's something that I'm trying to work on. So how do we overcome our reluctance to change? Events occur and we make meaning of those events. Meaning making nearly always triggers an emotional response. So trying to communicate with ourselves, is what just happened safe? It feels different, but was it safe? Once we decide that we may be threatened, our response is to remain in safety. So if we are like, this is different, I feel threatened, I don't want to change. If we stay safe, it becomes our response and we'll repeat it, okay? So your response becomes an addiction.